Mira stood in front of the old dorm building, her small suitcase beside her feet and a folded paper in her hand. The wind was cool, carrying the scent of rain. She had dreamed of studying at the Interplanetary Cultural University since the first day she heard about it on the news. It was the only place on Earth where humans and alien exchange students lived together. The thought of learning side by side with beings from other worlds made her both nervous and excited. She looked up at the tall building with its glass windows reflecting the morning sun. Students were walking around with suitcases, translators, and tablets in their hands. Some had blue or green skin. Others had glowing eyes or strange metallic tattoos. Mira had seen them on the screens before, but seeing them in person made her heart race. She clutched the paper tightly. It said, Room 27B, assigned partner, Rina Vornis. The name looked simple, but she had no idea what a Vornian was. She hoped her roommate would be friendly and maybe quiet. Myra preferred calm people. She was shy and didn't like much noise. As she entered the building, her shoes clicked softly against the smooth floor. A tall robot assistant greeted her at the reception and guided her to the elevator. On the way up, Mira's mind filled with questions. Would her roommate understand human customs? Would it be safe? She tried to push her worries away and focus on the opportunity in front of her. When she reached her room, the door opened automatically with a soft sound. The lights flicked on by themselves, revealing a clean space with 2 beds, 2 desks, and a shared bathroom. On the far side, someone was standing near the window. Mira froze for a second. The figure was tall, slightly taller than her, with light silver skin that shimmered like water under sunlight. His hair was short and almost white, and his eyes were a soft blue that seemed to shift color when he moved. He turned when she entered. His face was calm, almost expressionless, but his eyes had warmth. "You are my roommate," he said, his voice soft but clear. His accent was strange, like the sound of music through a metal pipe. Mira nodded quickly, trying not to stare. "Yes, I'm Mira. From Earth. Nice to meet you." He tilted his head slightly as if studying her words. Then he smiled in a polite way. "I am Rina Vornis. I am pleased to share space with you." His words sounded rehearsed, as if he had practiced them before. Still, they made her relax a little. She smiled back and began unpacking her suitcase. The first few hours passed quietly. Myra placed her books on the shelf, while Rin arranged his things in a very neat order. He had a small round device that hovered above his desk, glowing faintly blue. When she asked about it, he said it was a learning orb that stored his lessons and communication data. Mira found it fascinating. That evening they ate dinner together in the common hall. Rin barely touched his food. He explained that his species absorbed energy from certain minerals and didn't eat as humans did. Mira found the idea strange but interesting. She noticed how Rin tried to follow human manners, even though he didn't fully understand them. When she laughed at something funny, another student said, Rin copied her laughter with a confused look. Trying to join in by the end of the first day? Mira felt that maybe living with an alien wouldn't be so hard after all. Rin seemed respectful and curious about everything. The next few days passed smoothly. Rin spent most of his time studying or watching videos about human behavior. He asked many questions, some that made Mira laugh. He asked why humans wore shoes indoors, or why they covered their bodies so much. Myra tried to explain, but she realized how difficult it was to make sense of customs that felt normal to her. One night, she heard a soft humming sound and found Rin standing near the window again, his skin glowing faintly in the dark. He told her he was communicating with his family through energy waves that traveled faster than light. Mira listened quietly, amazed at how peaceful he looked. Slowly, she began to feel comfortable around him. She noticed he always helped her with small things like fixing her tablet or cleaning up after meals. When she got a small cut on her finger, Rin used a drop of silver liquid from his kit that healed the wound instantly. Mira thanked him, but he only smiled and said it was normal to help one's partner. Despite their differences, they started to develop a quiet friendship. Then came the morning that changed everything. It was a Saturday. Mira had woken up early because of the sunlight streaming through the window. Rin was not in the room. She assumed he had gone to the study lab as usual. Feeling relaxed, she decided to take a shower before breakfast. She played music softly from her tablet and hummed along while getting ready. After finishing, she wrapped herself in a towel and stepped out into the room. The steam followed her as she walked toward her closet. She was still half asleep and didn't notice that the door had opened. Rin walked in holding a small package of minerals. He froze. Mira froze too. For a few long seconds, neither of them moved. Then Mira gasped, eyes wide with shock. "Rin, out. Out!" she shouted, her face burning red. Rin blinked, clearly confused. "What is wrong? Did I interrupt a ritual? Get out." She cried again, pulling the towel tighter and pointing at the door. Rin quickly backed away, the package still in his hand. "I am sorry," he said in his calm voice, though his skin turned a bright shade of green, which Mira had learned meant embarrassment. He left the room immediately. Mira sat on the edge of her bed, her heart racing. She couldn't believe what had just happened. For her, it was one of the most embarrassing moments of her life. For Rin, it seemed like he had no idea why she was upset. When she finally got dressed, she found him standing near the window again, his expression serious. "I did not mean to cause harm," he said quietly. "In my culture, we do not hide our forms. It shows honesty and truth. I did not know this was wrong." Mira took a deep breath, trying to calm down. "It's okay. You didn't know? But on Earth, we have a rule. People need privacy when they change or shower. It's part of respect." Rin nodded slowly, his eyes thoughtful. "I understand. I will respect this rule. I have studied many human customs, but there is much I still do not know." She could see that he was truly sorry. The tension in her chest began to fade. She gave a small smile. "It's fine. Just knock next time, all right?" He nodded again. "Knock, yes. I will remember." The rest of the day was quiet. Mira tried to focus on her studies, but she kept thinking about how strange it was that something so normal for him could feel so shocking for her. It made her realize how different their worlds were. That evening, she noticed Rin sitting silently on his bed, staring at his learning orb. His skin glowed faintly blue, which she had learned meant he was feeling regret. She decided to speak to him. "Hey," she said softly, "you don't need to feel bad. You didn't mean to do anything wrong. You just didn't know." Rin looked up. "Your forgiveness means much. I was careless. I fear I made you uncomfortable." Mira nodded. "A little. But it's okay now. We're learning about each other. That's the point of this program, right?" Rin's lips curved into a small smile. "Yes, to learn. To understand. To unite." Mira smiled back. She realized that despite the awkwardness, Rin's honesty made him easier to trust. Later that night, as the room grew quiet, Rin turned off the lights and the glow from his skin softly filled the darkness. It was soothing, like moonlight. Mira found herself watching it for a moment before drifting off to sleep. In the following days, everything seemed to return to normal. Rin kept his promise and knocked every time before entering. They shared more stories about their cultures. Mira told him about human families and celebrations, while Rin explained the great floating cities of Vornis and how his people could store energy in crystals for travel. But something had changed between them after that morning. They were more cautious around each other, yet also more connected. Mira felt like she understood Rin a little better, and Rin seemed more aware of how fragile human emotions could be. Sometimes when they talked late into the night, Mira noticed him studying her expressions carefully, as if trying to decode her thoughts. She found that oddly comforting. She didn't know that the accident had triggered something far beyond embarrassment. Somewhere in the quiet dorm room, the small learning orb on Rin's desk flickered strangely. It scanned the air, detecting faint waves of unknown energy around. Rin did not notice it yet. The bond between human and alien was slowly beginning to change, and neither of them could see where it would lead. The next morning began quietly in the dorm. The sunlight slipped through the blinds and painted warm lines across the walls. Mira sat at her desk, brushing her hair and trying not to think about the embarrassing moment that had happened days ago. Rin was sitting across the room, reading something on his learning orb. The blue light from the device reflected off his silver skin. They had managed to move past the awkward event. Still, a strange tension hung in the air, like a thin thread stretched between them. Mira kept telling herself that it was fine, that it was just a misunderstanding. Rin had apologized more times than she could count, and she had accepted. But deep down, she still felt uneasy. Mira tried to distract herself with her studies. She opened her tablet and began reading about xenobiology, a class they both shared. The professor had given them an assignment about interspecies communication barriers. It seemed like the perfect topic for them. She smiled slightly, realizing how fitting it was. Across the room, Rin looked up from his orb. "Mira," he said softly, "may I ask you something about human emotions?" She turned her chair toward him. "Sure. What do you want to know?" He tilted his head, his eyes glowing faintly. "Humans change color on their faces when embarrassed or angry. Why does that happen? Is it part of your energy response?" Mira laughed a little, the question catching her off guard. "No, it's just blood rushing to the face. It's a natural reaction. We call it blushing." Rin nodded slowly, his expression serious. "I see. On my world, our colors shift when we feel emotions too. But the color tells others exactly what we feel. There are no secrets. You humans keep much hidden." "It's true," Mira said, leaning back in her chair. "We don't always show what we feel. Sometimes it's better to stay quiet." Rin looked thoughtful. "That may be why your kind seems strong, but also lonely." The word surprised her. She had never thought about it that way. For a moment, the room fell silent, except for the soft hum of Rin's learning orb. Then she smiled again. "Maybe you're right." After a few more minutes of study, Mira decided to make tea. She walked over to the small counter near the wall and boiled some water in the electric pot. Rin watched with curiosity as the steam rose. "You heat water for flavor," he said. "Strange but interesting." She laughed. "It's not strange. It's relaxing." When the tea was ready, she handed him a cup. He held it carefully, as if it were a scientific sample. After one sip, his expression shifted from confusion to mild surprise. "It is warm and sharp at the same time. My sensors feel it even after swallowing." "It's called ginger tea," she explained. "It's good for your system." Rin nodded respectfully and continued sipping. Mira found it funny how seriously he took every small human habit. It was like watching a child discover the world for the first time. For the next few days, life returned to a normal rhythm. Classes, meals, and study sessions filled their schedule. Myra began to notice how Rin was learning faster than any student she had ever met. He could memorize entire books after reading them once. Yet he often misunderstood simple human gestures. When someone waved, he bowed. When someone asked for a handshake, he placed his palm on their head in confusion. Despite the mistakes, everyone liked him. His polite behavior and quiet voice made people curious rather than annoyed. Some students even came to Myra to ask about him. She became used to being called the girl with the alien roommate. One evening, as they studied together, the light in the room flickered. Mira frowned and looked up. "That's strange. Maybe the power is going out." Rin stood up and moved toward the window. His orb floated beside him, its glow turning red. "No, this is not a power failure. I sense a field distortion." "What do you mean?" Mira asked, standing beside him. He turned his eyes toward her. "There is a wave of unknown energy nearby. It feels familiar, but unstable." Before she could ask more, the lights flashed again, then returned to normal. The orb turned blue once more. "It is gone," Rin said quietly. Mira looked confused. Maybe it was nothing. "Old buildings have strange wiring." Rin did not reply. His expression was unreadable. That night, as Mira slept, Rin sat awake on his bed. His orb hovered near his face, projecting streams of data in the air. He spoke softly in his own language. The orb responded with faint tones. He was trying to understand the strange readings he had sensed earlier. The energy signature had come from Myra. He did not want to believe it. But the data was clear. The next morning, Rin decided to test quietly. He placed his learning orb near Myra's side of the room. When she entered, the device blinked twice. It detected a faint biofield frequency. Rin pretended not to notice while Mira gathered her notes. Later that day during class, Rin's mind was far away. Mira was answering questions about human biology, but his focus stayed on the readings from the orb. The energy coming from her was unlike anything he had seen in a human before. It was weak but steady, like a slow heartbeat of light. When they returned to the dorm, Mira noticed that Rin looked distracted. "Is something wrong?" she asked. He hesitated. "There is something strange. I am not sure yet. I need to study more." She tilted her head. "About what?" He looked at her carefully. "About you." Her eyes widened a little. "Me? What did I do?" "Nothing wrong," Rin said quickly. "But I sense energy coming from you. It is faint, but unique. It may have started after the incident from last week." Myra frowned. "You mean that morning?" He nodded slowly. "Yes. I think our energies might have connected when I came too close. My kind produces a resonance field that reacts to living forms, but it has never bonded with a human before." She stared at him, trying to understand. "So what does that mean?" "I do not know," he said. "It could fade with time, or it could grow stronger." Mira sat down, feeling a mix of curiosity and worry. "Are you saying I've become some kind of experiment?" Rin shook his head. "No. You are still human. But something in your body is now responding to my energy. I will try to fix it." He began adjusting his orb, scanning the air around her. The small device made soft clicking sounds. Mira felt a faint warmth on her skin, like static. After a few minutes, Rin frowned. "It is more complex than I thought. The field is stable, but it is binding with your cells. Your body is adapting." Mira crossed her arms. "Adapting to what?" Rin looked serious. To me, for a long moment, they both stayed silent. The hum of the orb was the only sound in the room. Myra's heart beat faster. She had no idea what to say. Rin continued, his tone calm but thoughtful. "This is not dangerous, but it is unusual. I must keep it secret. The Galactic Union would want to study you. Study me. Why? Because a human forming a bond with a Vornian field has never happened? It means your body can synchronize with alien energy. That is something our scientists would not ignore." Mira felt a chill down her spine. "You mean they would take me away?" Rin's eyes dimmed. "Possibly. That is why we will not tell anyone." She nodded slowly, trusting his words. "All right. But you need to promise that it won't hurt me." Rin placed his hand over his chest. "I promise." For the next few days, they both acted normal in front of others. But in private, Rin kept running small tests, measuring the resonance between them. Mira tried not to think about it too much, though she sometimes noticed strange things. Lights flickered when she got close to certain devices. Her laptop screen froze whenever she sat beside Rin, and once when she touched his learning orb, it turned gold instead of blue. "See?" Rin said one night, watching the color shift. "It reacts to you. You are forming a connection to Vornian energy." Mira stared at the glowing sphere. "What if this gets worse?" "It will not," Rin said quietly. "But if it spreads, others may sense it." As if to prove his words, the orb suddenly emitted a soft pulse. A faint holographic symbol appeared above it, spinning slowly. Rin's eyes widened. "This is not good. The Union network has detected your signal." Mira looked alarmed. "You mean your people know about me?" "Yes," he said, voice tense. "But they do not know who you are yet. They think it is a small anomaly." Quickly tapped a few symbols on the orb, trying to mask the signal. The light dimmed again. Mira stood silently, watching him work. For the first time, she felt truly scared. This was no longer just a cultural misunderstanding. Something strange was happening to her, something she could not explain. When Rin finally finished, he turned toward her. His usually calm face looked worried. "The connection is stronger than I thought. If they trace it, they will come here." Mira took a deep breath. "Then what do we do?" Rin looked out the window at the night sky, where a faint blue star glowed among the clouds. We prepare, because soon they will come for answers. Myra followed his gaze, feeling both afraid and strangely curious. She did not know what was waiting beyond that sky, but she knew her life would never be the same again. The morning sun rose over the university campus, painting the sky in shades of gold and blue. Students hurried to their classes while small cleaning drones floated quietly across the courtyard. Inside room 27B, Mira woke up to the soft hum of Rin's learning orb. It hovered near his desk, flickering faintly as if dreaming. She rubbed her eyes and looked around. Rin was already awake, standing beside the window with his arms crossed. His silver skin shimmered under the sunlight, and his eyes seemed distant, as if he were listening to something only he could hear. "Good morning," Mira said softly. He turned his head and gave a faint smile. "Good morning. I was monitoring the energy field. It is still active." Mira groaned quietly. "You mean that thing with me again?" "Yes," Rin said. "It has not faded. The resonance remains stable, but continues to grow." She sighed and sat on her bed. "You said it might go away." "I thought it would," Rin replied. "But it appears to have adapted. It is not dangerous, but it is drawing attention." Myra frowned. "From who?" Rin didn't answer immediately. His learning orb flashed a red signal, and his expression became serious. "From my world. From the Galactic Union sensors, they have detected a repeating signal from this area. It is weak, but unusual. They will send someone to investigate soon." Mira felt a chill run down her spine. "How soon?" "Maybe days," he said. "Maybe less. They will not ignore this kind of reading." She stood up and walked closer. "Can we hide it?" "I am trying," Rin said. "But the energy comes from you now. It responds to emotion, movement, even thought. It is not easy to suppress." Mira looked down at her hands. They looked completely normal. "I don't feel anything strange." "You would not," Rin said softly. "It is part of your living pattern now. You are producing a resonance field in harmony with mine. When we are near, the effect grows stronger." Mira gave a nervous laugh. "So we're like some kind of walking radio signal?" Rin nodded. "Yes," in simple words. For a moment, silence filled the room. Mira sat at her desk, staring at her textbooks but unable to focus. She had joined the program to learn about other species, not to become part of some galactic mystery. Rin walked over and placed his hand gently on the orb. "I will contact my mentor in secret. He may know how to reverse this effect." Mira nodded slowly. "Okay, but please don't tell anyone else." "You have my word," Rin said. The rest of the day passed quietly. Mira attended her classes as usual, though her mind was far away. Every time the classroom lights flickered or her tablet froze, she felt her stomach twist with worry. Was it because of her? She tried to act normal, laughing with her friends and listening to the lectures. But inside she felt uneasy. When she returned to the dorm that evening, Rin was still working with his learning orb. Symbols and diagrams floated in the air above the device. He looked frustrated. "Any luck?" she asked. He shook his head. "The field has formed a loop. It keeps regenerating even when I try to dampen it. The energy structure has recognized you as part of it. You are no longer a passive receiver. You are now a generator." "Ah," Mira blinked. "That sounds bad." "It is not harmful," Rin said, "but it is powerful. You could attract long-range scanners if you get emotional." "Emotional? You mean like angry or scared?" "Yes," Rin said. "Strong feelings release higher energy waves. The field amplifies them." Myra let out a long breath. "So I have to stay calm all the time now?" Rin gave a small nod. "For now, yes, until I find a way to neutralize it." That night, Mira lay awake staring at the ceiling. Her thoughts raced. What if Rin's people came and took her away? What if they thought she was some kind of weapon or experiment? The idea made her heart pound faster. She forced herself to breathe slowly, remembering Rin's advice. In the darkness, she could see a faint glow on the wall. It was coming from her own hand. The light shimmered softly before fading again. Mira pulled her blanket over herself, trying not to panic the next day. things got stranger. During her afternoon class, Mira's tablet suddenly projected a burst of static before shutting down completely. The professor frowned and said the university's systems were detecting a strange interference source nearby. Mira froze in her seat, pretending not to know anything. After class, she hurried back to the dorm. Rin was already waiting, his expression tense. The signal spiked again, he said quickly. It reached orbit this time. The Union satellites will pinpoint it soon? Mira felt her pulse rise. What can we do? Rin looked thoughtful. I have one idea, but it is risky. If we can channel the energy into a containment field, we may be able to disguise the source. But we must do it here, and we must be careful. She nodded. What do you need me to do? He handed her a small metallic disc from his kit. Hold this. It will synchronize with your energy. Do not drop it. Mira held the disc tightly. It vibrated slightly in her hand. Rin pressed a sequence on his orb and lines of blue light formed around them, creating a faint circle on the floor. The air felt charged, like the moment before a storm. Now focus, Rin said calmly. Think of stillness. Think of calm water. Do not let fear guide the field. Mira closed her eyes and did as he said. She pictured calm waves in her mind, gentle and quiet. The disc in her hand grew warm. The glow around them softened, and Rin's orb emitted a low hum. After a minute, the light faded completely. Rin opened his eyes and checked the readings. It worked. The field is stable and hidden. For now, Mira smiled weakly. For now sounds better than nothing, he nodded. Yes, but we must stay alert. If the Union sends a scout, they may still sense a trace. They spent the next few hours talking about what to do if someone arrived. Rin told her that Union scouts rarely harmed anyone, but always reported anomalies. Mira felt slightly better knowing that. She still worried about being taken away for study. Later that night, as they sat quietly reading, Rin's orb flickered again. A faint voice came through the device, speaking in a strange, melodic language. Rin listened carefully, his expression darkening. What is it? Mira asked. It is a message, he said slowly. From the observation ship above this region, they have detected the anomaly and are sending a small craft to investigate. Mira's eyes widened. They're coming here? Yes, Rin said. Within one rotation? That means tonight. Her hands trembled. What do we do, Rin? He looked serious. We hide the truth. You must act normal. If they scan us, I will take responsibility. They cannot know it is connected to you. Mira wanted to argue, but the determination in his voice made her stop. All right, but promise me you won't get in trouble because of me. He gave a faint smile. If protecting you is trouble, then it is a worthy one. The hours passed slowly. Mira could barely focus on her work. Every sound outside made her jump. Around midnight, Rin stood up suddenly and looked out the window. A faint blue light moved across the sky like a shooting star. They are here, he whispered. The light descended behind the nearby forest. Rin turned to her. Stay here. Lock the door. If I do not return, do not follow. Mira shook her head. No, I'm not letting you face them alone. You must, Rin said firmly. They will listen to me, not you. Please. Before she could argue again, he left the room, the door sliding shut behind him. Mira stood frozen, unsure what to do. Her heart pounded as she paced back and forth. Minutes passed like ours. Finally, unable to sit still, she grabbed her jacket and followed quietly. The hallways were empty, and the air outside was cool and damp. She moved through the trees toward the soft glow she had seen earlier, in a small clearing. She saw Rin standing before a sleek metallic craft. 3 figures stood beside it, their bodies tall and slender, glowing faintly like him. They spoke in low tones that sounded like wind through glass. Mira hid behind a tree, watching. One of the aliens raised a scanning device. We have detected the anomaly source in this area, it said in a mechanical translation. Explain yourself, Rin, of Vornis. Rin stood tall. The anomaly is under control. It was caused by experimental equipment, not by life. The alien tilted its head. Your readings say otherwise. There is human resonance detected. Rin's voice grew firmer. It was a temporary exposure. The human involved is safe and unaware. No danger remains. The leader paused, scanning the air again. Mira held her breath, trying not to move. After a long silence, the alien lowered the device. We will report your findings. If the anomaly grows, the Union will intervene directly. The group turned and entered the craft. The blue light grew brighter, then shot upward into the night sky until it vanished. Mira stepped out from behind the tree. Rin, she whispered. He turned toward her, his expression unreadable. You should not have come. I had to make sure you were safe, she said softly. Rin sighed, but gave a small smile. They accepted my report. But if the energy rises again, they will return. We must be careful from now on. Mira nodded slowly. Then we'll handle it together. As they walked back toward the dorm, the forest around them felt alive with quiet energy. The stars above shimmered like watching eyes. Rin looked up at them and said quietly, Things will not stay quiet for long. The Union will not forget this. Myra followed his gaze, her heart heavy but determined. Whatever was coming next, she knew she would face it with him. Mira sat in silence as the soft hum of the alien ship surrounded her. The walls shimmered faintly like flowing light. She still could not believe that she had been taken from Earth and was now sitting in a room made of living metal. Rin sat across from her, his skin shifting from silver to pale blue, color that meant worry among his people. When the Galactic Union ship arrived, Mira thought it was a dream. One moment, she was arguing with Rin about his energy scanner, and the next, a beam of light had surrounded them both. They were lifted into the air, weightless, and transported into a massive chamber filled with beings from different worlds. The chamber was bright and open, filled with transparent walls that showed stars drifting outside. Creatures of all shapes and sizes worked at strange consoles, their languages mixing into a soft hum. Mira looked around in wonder and fear. Everything felt unreal. Rin tried to explain what was happening. They detected the resonance, he said in a calm but serious voice. When we touched last time, our energy fields mixed. You created a signal strong enough for them to notice. The Union monitors energy activity across the galaxy. They came because they thought it was an anomaly or maybe a new power source. Myra frowned. So now they think I am dangerous? Rin hesitated. Not dangerous. Unpredictable. To them, unknown things must be studied. That is their rule. Soon, a tall alien with glass-like skin entered the chamber. Its voice was calm and echoing. Human Myra, you carry resonance not seen in your species before. You must come for analysis. Mira looked at Rin in panic. I am not a lab subject. I am a person. The alien paused. Its expression was unreadable. We do not harm. We observe. Your safety is assured. Despite the soft tone, Mira felt uneasy. She did not understand their rules or their science. To her, this was kidnapping, not protection. Still, there was nowhere to run. They were led through glowing corridors into a round room filled with floating instruments. The air had a sweet metallic scent. Panels of light circled her, scanning every part of her body. Rin stood nearby, translating what he could. They say, your body has bonded with my energy frequency, Rin explained. The resonance flows through your cells. You can now influence energy systems like one of us. Mira was speechless. She thought about the flickering lights back in her dorm, her laptop breaking, and the strange patterns that had appeared on her skin. Maybe this was all real. One of the scientists, a short alien with 6 glowing eyes, stepped closer and said, her biology is adapting faster than expected. She might be the first bridge between Vornis energy and human form. Rin understood their words and clenched his fists. She is not an experiment. She is my friend. The tall alien turned to Rin. We understand your emotion, but this is bigger than friendship. If she learns to control this energy, she can reshape human evolution. If not, her body may destabilize. Mira listened quietly, her mind spinning. Destabilize. What does that mean? Rin translated carefully. They mean the energy could harm you if it keeps growing. It must be balanced. Mira took a deep breath. Then teach me to control it. The scientists exchanged looks. Finally, the tall one nodded. If you wish to learn, you will stay under observation. We will monitor both of you. Days passed on the ship. Mira began training with Rin's help. They practiced focusing her energy through her hands. When she concentrated, light flickered around her fingers like soft electricity. It felt warm, but not painful. Rin guided her patiently. Do not fight the energy. It is part of you now. Breathe with it. Feel its rhythm. She followed his words, breathing slowly. The light grew steady, forming a small orb in her palm. She smiled with surprise. I did it. Ah! Rin smiled too. Yes, you are learning fast. However, not everyone on the ship was happy about her progress. Some officers believed humans were not ready for such power. One of them, a rigid alien with armor-like skin, warned the council. If humans gain access to resonance control, they may use it for war. We cannot allow it to spread. Another officer disagreed. She saved the energy balance when the signal formed. She shows reason. Humans may be primitive, but they adapt quickly. The council was divided. Mira did not know about their arguments at first, but she noticed Rin becoming distant. One night, as they watched the stars through a viewing window, she asked him, "Something is wrong, isn't it?" Rin nodded slowly. "Some of them think you should be isolated. They fear your potential." Mira looked out at the stars. "I didn't ask for this. I just wanted to study and live quietly. But now, I am part of something I don't understand." "You are more than part of it," Rin said softly. "You might change how both our species see each other." The next morning, an alarm echoed through the ship. The lights flashed red, and the air shook. A sudden burst of energy struck the main hull. Mira and Rin ran to the control deck. Through the transparent walls, Mira saw a smaller ship firing strange energy bolts. Rin's face turned pale. It's a faction that opposes the Union's experiments. They want to destroy anything related to cross-species resonance. The captain shouted orders while the crew scrambled to respond. Myra could feel the energy inside her pulsing stronger, reacting to the chaos around them. Instruments flickered wildly as if her heartbeat was affecting the entire system. "Mira," Rin said urgently, "you must stay calm. The ship's systems are sensitive to your energy. If it spikes, it could overload." But staying calm was hard. Explosions rocked the ship. Mira closed her eyes and focused on her breathing. She tried to imagine stillness, a calm sea inside her mind. Slowly, the lights steadied. The captain looked surprised. "The resonance field is stabilizing." "What did she do?" Rin smiled. "She is learning to control it." After the attack was repelled, the council gathered again. They had seen what Mira could do. The same power they feared had just saved them from destruction. One of the elder council members spoke. "Perhaps we judged her too quickly. Her control prevented disaster. We should reconsider humanity's potential," the armored officer objected. "This was luck, not control. Power corrupts. If humans spread this ability, chaos will follow." Rin stood beside Mira. "Or maybe trust will follow. Every great step begins with fear, but it can end with unity." The council debated long into the cycle, their glowing forms moving like shadows of light across the walls. At last, the elder spoke again. "We will not imprison the human. Instead, she and her guardian will return to Earth. The resonance will be monitored, but she will live freely." Mira was relieved, though uncertain. "So we can go home?" "Yes," Rin said, smiling with relief. "Home." Before they left, the scientists gave her a small device that could regulate her energy. They called it a stabilizer. Rin explained that it would help keep her power balanced until she learned full control. As their transport descended through the atmosphere, Mira looked down at the blue planet below. The lights of cities glimmered like stars on the ground. It felt comforting and strange at the same time. When they landed near the old university base, the air smelled like rain. Mira stepped out, breathing deeply. It feels good to be home. Rin looked at her, his expression thoughtful. Home for you. For me, it is a new beginning. She smiled faintly. For both of us, maybe? Unknown to them, far above in orbit, the Galactic Union ship remained in silent watch. They were not done observing. The Council had agreed to let her live freely, but they also knew something new had begun, back on Earth. Mira tried to return to her normal life, but nothing felt the same. She could feel the energy inside her, calm but alive, like a quiet heartbeat of another world. When she closed her eyes, she could sense the stars calling her name, and though she did not know it yet, her connection to the resonance would soon draw even greater attention, both from Earth and from the stars beyond. Humanity's first true step into the galactic stage had already begun, and Mira was at the center of it all. She stood under the night sky, looking up, feeling both small and infinite. What had started as a simple accident with an alien roommate was now the spark that would change everything. Mira woke up early, the morning light slipping through the curtains of her small room. It had been 2 weeks since she and Rin returned to Earth. The university had welcomed them back quietly, though most people did not know what had really happened. To the outside world, she had been part of an exchange program. Only a few high-level scientists knew the truth about her connection to the Galactic Union. Rin was sitting by the window, his skin glowing a soft green, the color that meant calm. He had taken the form of an Earth student again, wearing simple clothes and trying to blend in. But even when he looked human, there was something about him that always felt a little different. He had a strange stillness, kind of peace that Mira could never quite understand. Another quiet day, Mira said, stretching her arms. It almost feels normal again. Rin smiled. For now, but quiet days do not last forever. The energy inside you is growing stronger. The stabilizer keeps it balanced, but soon it may not be enough. Mira frowned. You mean it's getting worse? Not worse, Rin said softly. Just stronger. You are evolving, Mira. That is what happens when two life forces join. The Union is watching from orbit. They will contact us soon, Amira sighed. I was hoping they would forget about me. They will not, Rin replied. You are the first human to show resonance. They see you as a key. Before Mira could answer, her phone buzzed with a message from the research center. It was short and urgent. Report immediately. Emergency situation. Within an hour, they reached the underground laboratory where Union technology was being studied by human scientists. The base was full of activity. Alarms flashed, and engineers rushed between rooms. Dr. Han, the head researcher, met Mira at the entrance. Thank goodness you're here, he said. We've been detecting strange signals. They match your energy frequency, but they're not coming from you. They're coming from space. Rin's skin turned silver. Another resonance source? Dr. Han nodded. Exactly. Something in orbit is responding to Mira's energy. It's powerful, far more than our instruments can handle. Mira felt a chill. Could it be the Union? Rin shook his head. No, the Union would have told us. This is something else. Suddenly, the ground trembled. The lights flickered. Everyone looked up as the ceiling shook from a distant rumble. The base's alarms blared again. A technician shouted, "A ship is descending through the atmosphere. Unknown origin." Rin grabbed Mira's arm. Stay close. Whatever it is coming for you. They ran outside as the sky turned bright. A massive object broke through the clouds, glowing red and silver. It hovered over the valley near the city. The air crackled with energy, and a low hum vibrated through the ground. Dr. Han gasped. That is no Earth ship. Rin's expression hardened. That is Vornian design, but not Union standard. It must be the Separatists. They tracked her energy signal. Mira's heart raced. They want to take me? They believe your power should belong to them, Rin said. They think humans should not have it. As the ship descended, a voice echoed through the air, amplified by energy. Human Mira of Earth, you carry the resonance of Vornis. You are a danger to the balance. Surrender, and you will not be harmed. Mira stood frozen. Rin stepped in front of her. She will not surrender. Leave this world. The ship fired a pulse of blue light that struck the ground near them. The shockwave knocked everyone back. Mira fell, clutching the stabilizer on her wrist. It flickered rapidly. She could feel the energy inside her rising, burning like fire under her skin. Rin shouted, "Mira, focus! You must control it before it explodes." She closed her eyes, breathing hard. The world around her blurred. She could feel every vibration in the air, every spark of life around her. The stabilizer's light turned bright white. "I can stop them," she said, her voice trembling. "I can protect us." Rin reached out his hand. "Do not destroy them. Control the energy. Shape it." Mira nodded. She focused on the energy inside her chest, imagining it as a wave that she could guide. Slowly, the light spread around her body, forming a glowing field. The air shimmered with power. When the ship fired again, the energy beam hit the field and scattered like water hitting glass. The impact shook the valley, but Mira stood firm. She raised her hand, and the scattered light curved back, surrounding the enemy ship in a glowing net. Rin watched in awe. She's bending the energy itself. The ship struggled to break free, but the net tightened. Sparks flew, and the hum of its engines grew weaker. Then, with one final burst of light, the ship was forced to shut down. It drifted slowly to the ground, landing safely but powerless. Everyone stared in silence. Myra's light faded and she fell to her knees, exhausted. Rin rushed to her side. "You did it. You controlled it perfectly." She looked up at him, her face pale but calm. "I didn't want to hurt them. I just wanted to stop the fight. That is what makes you different," Rin said softly. "That is why they were wrong to fear you." The human scientists approached carefully. Dr. Han said, "Mira, the Union ship is contacting us. They saw everything. They're requesting to speak with you directly." Moments later, a holographic image appeared in the air, showing the Union Council. The tall, glass-skinned leader spoke. "Myra of Earth, we witnessed your action. You used resonance to protect without destruction. This act proves the balance between power and peace." Mira stood weakly, still catching her breath. "I didn't want anyone to get hurt. I just wanted everyone to be safe." The leader nodded. "That is the spirit of unity. You have shown what humans can become," another council member added. "Because of your choice, the Union has voted to open communication with humanity. Your species will be offered guidance and knowledge. You will not be treated as lesser, but as partners." Dr. Han could barely contain his excitement. "Do you understand what this means, Mira? You just opened the door for all of humanity." Mira smiled faintly. "I didn't plan to. I just did what felt right." Rin looked at her with pride. That is how change begins. Over the next few weeks, Earth changed more than ever before. Union ships appeared in orbit, not as conquerors, but as allies. Scientists and diplomats met with alien envoys, sharing knowledge and building trust. Rin became Earth's first ambassador to the Galactic Union. And Mira became a living bridge between worlds. She continued her training under both human and alien mentors. The resonance inside her grew steadier, and she learned how to use it to heal damaged systems, power clean energy, and even stabilize Earth's unstable climates. Her power was no longer seen as a threat, but as hope. One evening, she stood on the university rooftop watching the stars. Rin joined her. The city lights glowed below them, peaceful and bright. Mira said quietly, "Do you think humans are ready for this? For the galaxy?" Rin smiled. "They are never fully ready, but that is what makes them remarkable. You learn as you go. You fall and rise again. That is what the Union saw today." She nodded. "It's strange. Everything started with one mistake in a shared room, and now the whole galaxy knows my name." Rin laughed softly. "Sometimes the smallest events lead to the greatest changes." A shooting star streaked across the night sky. Mira looked up, feeling calm for the first time in a long while. She no longer felt afraid of what she had become. The energy within her pulsed gently, no longer wild or unstable. It felt like part of her heartbeat now. She turned to Rin. "Thank you for believing in me." Rin's skin shimmered gold. "You believed in yourself. That is what saved both our worlds. As they stood there under the stars, a voice came through Rin's communicator. Ambassador Rin, Council requests your presence. Humanity's induction ceremony will begin soon. Right. Then it's official. Earth joins the Galactic Union, as Rin said. A new chapter begins. They looked up at the stars, where ships from 100 worlds glowed like distant fireflies. Mira knew that humanity's story was no longer bound to one planet. It was part of something far greater now. And though the journey had started with confusion, embarrassment, and fear, it ended with understanding and unity. She had turned an accident into history in the days that followed. Myra became known across the stars as the Resonant Human, the one who bridged two worlds. Her story spread through the Galactic Union as a reminder that peace could come from the most unexpected places. And as she watched the first human-built ship rise toward the stars, she whispered to herself, "This is only the beginning."